Hi there, my name is Rodney Stair and I'm with Tri-Cities Community Television, and I'm here today in the beautiful Lee Square in Port Coquitlam with Roger Loubert, the President of the Regional Arts Council. Thanks for coming today.
Thank you.
So can you tell me a bit about your involvement with the Regional Arts Council and the Riverview lands?
Well, first of all, the Arts Council itself has a very long history here, 45 plus years. And in our case, we have a very strong interest in Riverview as of the last 3 years. So we've integrated our whole organization into the experience of Riverview from an arts and cultural perspective.
Wonderful. Because I know that the Riverview lands is quite a complex and diverse. I know there's an arborarium, there are different facilities. So do you plan to be involved with future development in the sense that if they do open up a mental health or just general mental health complex, will you be involved with the artwork? Or how will this relationship look like?
Well, that's a very interesting question. I think because of the process so far, and you're probably aware of the political nature of the site itself, and how each of the layers of government has approached the question of Riverview. So if we take the province itself, which has, as it knew it was closing down, this specific site went through a planning process years ago. But years went on because by then the actual hospital itself had not been closed. This is a provincial hospital, right? It's an institution, which served the whole province. And it went through a very interesting next step when now another kick at the can, as the hospital itself got closed down. So I think it's about 2012 on its 100th anniversary. All of a sudden Riverview lands now is becoming closer to what might happen with it now a second time around. Meanwhile though, and I'm very proud of this, the city of Coquitlam took on a very interesting position. It grew into, through various administrations, taking a position on Riverview. So it wanted to see previous administrations, they formed a task force, for instance. We were part of that founding task force, ArtsConnect, as a regional arts council. And so we got into the visioning, the dreaming of what might be there, right? Now that everybody knew it was going to close. And as it went forward, the notion of how the province, through its visioning process, and then how the city of Coquitlam, there's where the political layers come into the picture, right? Because the city of Coquitlam, it took a position on Riverview that said, we want to see this remain. We want to see this be a mental health services with its legacy, that it continues what it was there and that it serves the greater public and the greater interest. So obviously you're going to have, as you can see, conflicting visions of Riverview that's going to emerge.
Yeah. I know that there was quite a conflicting view between the municipality and the province, because I think the province wanted it to be a complex that was revenue neutral. So they were planning to open up bring in a lot of market housing. So how do you feel that as the president of ArtsConnect and the regional representation, how does your vision differ from that or similar to that of the city versus that of the province?
Yeah, well, that's a very good question. And I think that the visioning process so far, and from our perspective, so let me pull back. 3 years ago, what we did, having had our 45 years of history plus in this region, and being that, and I like to say it, and anybody who's ever heard me say it will remember, that we were gardeners planting seeds, right, in the art and cultural sense of this region, and we have all the years to prove it, and we have an archives to die for, which would show the interactions we've had with the various cities and the municipalities in this here region. And let's be clear about what we mean by this region, right, and Tri-Cities, quote unquote. And I kind of cringe at that name because really there's 5 municipalities in this region, takes in 2 beautiful villages that are incorporated, and more in Balcarra, and of course the 3 cities. So just to get into your question, the very idea of the province and the city, and as they kind of like, are kind of tug and pull about where might go Riverview, and if I got your question right, you're wondering, how does ArtsConnect position itself vis-a-vis the dreams and visions there? So what we did is through some workshops, strategic planning workshops, came up with 4 key words. And they're very much the driving force for us, right? And it's regional, cultural, iconic, landmark. That's how we see it. We see it that it's a provincial iconic landmark. We actually see it as an iconic national landmark. So the way we've engaged in it is this. We've decided, okay, what role could we play in this? So last year, well, 2 years ago, we launched a process which ends up being called now, referred to as the Pendulum Gallery Project. And our driving theme was, and is to this day, because it's a living exhibit, Riverview, 2 little periods there, our iconic landscape. And that's been our driving force for us in terms of engaging the creatives of this region, which has now happened. Some beautiful, beautiful consequences of this. I'll just identify one that I call the Rubicon Art Project. 27 artists engaged themselves into getting a handle on the challenge we posed to them, because here was the condition of any artist that was going to be part of this exhibit. We told them, we said, you need to go to Riverview, make some sense of it from your own artistic background and your own medium. Then go to the Pendulum Gallery downtown, and if you've never seen this gallery, you'll understand why we picked it. We paid for the privilege of being there $2,300, and we're going to be there 3 weeks. And basically, so we set in motion this idea and this engagement at the very local level, and to the creatives to come and give this other reflection and vision and dreams about Riverview. So that's been the way we've approached it, and we are still approaching it.
I think that's wonderful, because I think oftentimes we undervalue the role of art, especially in its role in mental health, because oftentimes I find it's very integral to healing, oftentimes can be very cathartic, but also in the planning, because oftentimes when we do develop, whether it be like residences or mental health complexes, we forget that these places should also be livable, and so we need an artist's eye. So
very much so.
Yeah. And
no, I really appreciate that reflection, because you're absolutely right. My own engagement in the whole field of arts and culture was because it's this other way to look at the world around us, right? And so the stakeholders around the table, by the way, so we sat for years on the Riverview Lands Advisory Committee of the city of Coquitlam, right? And so around the table you had all the various stakeholders, including ourselves, but we were relatively quiet for quite a bit of years. We just looked and saw the visioning would be that somewheres in there the innovation, the creative side would be needed. So we saw initially, even in the initial visioning through the task force at the time, we actually saw that there would be a need for one of these, kind of a regional arts center within the complex of this place to serve mental health. So we were dovetailing ourselves into the Coquitlam experience of saying, you know, they were saying they want a campus of wellness. So the Arboretum, of course, we know the tree people, beautiful kudos to them, the Riverview Horticultural Center Society, another great stakeholder around the table. And actually we owe most that we're still talking about Riverview because, and we can even name some of them that are still to this day around, the Gillespies, Norma, you know. And what you have is basically everyone's done their part to bring the issue of Riverview to the largest and the most comprehensive conversation you'll be able to find. So we feel now that we're going to enter the conversation in very much the thing you're talking about, where the creative approach, this idea of not fearing to go where no one dares to go, and to think about what the possibilities are there. And personally myself too, I'll go to the idea of a conference that was held here years ago, of which I equate this issue. This is a human settlement issue. If you want to really know what Riverview is and what challenges it's faced, it's a Riverview question, but it's more important, it's a human settlement question. And Habitat in 1976, and I would tell any viewer that is listening to this, dig down and drill down and research what Habitat was all about. It was about human settlement issues. Vancouver was the town, and we know today this whole city is faced you know, really habitat issues that deals with housing, that deals with nature. And habitat in those days used to cross over and had a meaning in both worlds. So that's the gist of our fascination and passion about and around Riverview.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today. It was wonderful to hear about all the wonderful activism that you're doing in the community, and I hope you can continue, and I hope that
Well, look, just before I'll put in a plug for our TV program. We, in our case, ArtsConnect, as a regional arts council, have partnered with the Tri-Cities Community TV, the very one doing this program today. And I'm very excited to say that it's been a relation that was built over the years. And the ArtsConnect specific program that we put to air is now, growing and being nurtured by the expertise of the Tri-Cities Community TV group. And as we go forward, we will be doing a series. We want to focus heavily on Riverview, and so look forward, anyone, to the coming segments that we're going to do on Riverview, because we've got a fantastic documentary approach to what we did downtown at the Pendulum Gallery. We've documented every step of the way, including Art Focus's great contribution with these tower, movable tower, Rubicon art, fantastic 27 artists that proposed to us this one piece. And it's become the gem of the project. It's rotating around right now. It's been at the Coquitlam Public Library for 6 weeks. It now sits in the second floor of the Port Coquitlam City Hall, and it's got many more lives to live as we go into phase 2, phase 3, and phase 4. Our whole idea is we want this exhibit to go around the province. And the city of Coquitlam right now, we're negotiating how to bring the full exhibit to their city hall. And actually the city itself, council, has given green light to the staff to literally begin this negotiation between our organization and themselves. So some really great, exciting things happening.
Yeah, that's incredible, and I look forward to keep an eye on ArtsConnect and seeing all the wonderful work that you do in the community.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much
Thanks
for coming
having
on
me
today.
Thank you.